Happy Monday, Wildcats! I'm so glad to be back and reading with you guys. I missed you over the weekend. I was thinking that since it's Monday, maybe we could start by playing two truths and a lie about our weekend. So I was thinking about mine. Here we go. I'm going to tell you, and I want you to turn and talk to a family member. You can ring to Wilbur, or you can even write it down or whisper it to yourself. Here are mine. This weekend, I went home to Arizona to see my family. This weekend, I don't know if you guys can tell, but remember my red eye? My red eye got red again this weekend. And I started a new book. How did I trick you? I don't think you... All right, I'll tell you how I tricked you at the end of our reading today. Today we are going to move on to chapter 2 of Otherwise Known as Sheila the Great. On Friday, I asked you to compare and contrast Sheila and her family with Peter and his family. I was thinking of some connections that I made. A connection that I made was that Peter has a brother named Fudge, and Sheila has a sister named Libby. So they both have a sibling, a brother or a sister that is probably going to play a big part in this story, the same way that Fudge played a big part in the last story. But I noticed that they're different a little bit. Libby is an older sister. She likes to dance and sing and act all professional and old and responsible. But Fudge was a little brother, and we know how mischievous and naughty he was. So they both have siblings, but their siblings are a little different. I can't wait to read to find out more about Sheila's relationship with Libby, the same way that we read to find out more about Peter's relationship with Fudge. Here we go, chapter 2. Let me get situated. All right, here we go. Chapter 2. Jennifer is small with brown and white spots and long ears. Wait, at the end of last chapter it said, I couldn't wait to see the house. I couldn't wait to see my bedroom. And then I found out about Jennifer. At first, when Sheila said Jennifer, in my mind movie, I visualized a little girl. Maybe the same age as Sheila, maybe the same age as Libby, and thought maybe they would be new friends, or maybe they would even be new enemies. But listen to this. Jennifer is small, with brown and white spots, and long ears. That's not the little girl I was visualizing. Can anybody make an inference? Jennifer isn't a little girl. When Libby saw her, she cried, "Oh, what an adorable dog!" She comes with the house, Daddy said. She belongs to Professor Egren, and she's ours for the summer. I'm going back to the car, I said. Daddy held my arm. She can't hurt you. Oh, sure, I said, pulling away from him. But I'll just wait in the car until you decide what to do with her, because I'm not staying here if she does. I ran down the road, jumped into our car, and started to shake. How could they do this to me? Their own child, their own younger daughter. Didn't they understand? Didn't they care? Daddy and Mom hurried to the car. Mom stuck her head in the open window. Sheila, she said, Jennifer is very small. She's more afraid of you than you are of her. Did she tell you that? I asked. Daddy said, she's got a doghouse and a fenced-in area. She's chained up. You don't have to go near her. Suppose she gets away, I asked. Suppose her chain breaks. That won't happen, Daddy said. But even if it did, someone would catch her. You're just saying that, I told Daddy, but you don't mean it. Have we ever lied to you? Mom asked. Well, no. Then trust us, Daddy said. I looked out the car window. Libby was cuddling Jennifer. You promise she'll never come into the house? I promise, Daddy said. She's got everything she needs outside. And you won't make me go near her? Of course not, Mom said. You can even pretend she's not there if you want. And you won't make fun of me? Do we ever make fun of you? Daddy asked. Libby does, I said. Well, We'll see that she doesn't, Mom promised. Now, don't you want to come into the house and see your very own bedroom, Daddy asked. Well, I guess so, I said, getting out of the car. We walked up the front lawn to the house. Libby was still holding Jennifer. When Jennifer saw me coming, she jumped off Libby's lap. She barked and barked. You see, I cried, turning around ready to run back to the car. She hates me already. I think Judy Blume, our author, has been doing a great job of showing and not telling. Based on everything that Sheila is saying and doing, shaking, running back to the car, crying, how does Sheila feel about dogs? Judy Blume gave us some clues in chapter 1, too, with Peter and Turtle in the elevator. How does Sheila feel about dogs? I don't think she likes them very much either. Let's keep reading. Don't be silly, Daddy said. He took my hand. I'm not being silly. Why else would she bark like that? Because she doesn't know you, Mom said, putting an arm around me. And she's never going to either, I'll tell you that. We went into the house. The downstairs looked pretty nice, but I wanted to see my bedroom. So Daddy and I went upstairs while Libby and Mom poked around in the kitchen. Daddy turned right at the top of the stairs and walked down the hall. 2 of the bedrooms are this way, and the other 2 are that way, Daddy said, pointing. Since you wanted to be far away from Libby, I thought you might like this one. Daddy pushed open a door and smiled. I went in. The first thing I saw was the dresser. It was piled with models, planes, boats, and cars, and the walls were full of team pennants. Pennants? Flags. Oh no, I lost my page. There wasn't even a bedspread on the bed, just an ugly old gray blanket with Camp Kennebec printed across it. I opened the closet door. The shelves were loaded with sports equipment. And where was my soft, fluffy yellow rug with the big rose in the middle? No place. The floor was bare. Daddy said, well, I hate it, I shouted, running out of the room, past Daddy and down the hall. I looked into the other bedrooms, but they were all the same. They're all boys' rooms, I cried. Daddy followed me and said, well, of course they are. Professor Egren has 3 sons. When I heard that, I got so mad, I kicked a closet door and made a mark on it. Mom came upstairs then and said that wasn't a very nice thing to do in somebody else's house. Maybe it wasn't, but I didn't care. Libby wasn't disappointed when she saw her bedroom. She doesn't mind having a boys' room. She loves it. She says it makes her feel very close to Professor Egren's 15-year-old son. Daddy says my room belongs to his 12-year-old son. But if I hate it that much, I can have the room which belongs to his 3-year-old son, even though it was much smaller. I told him, no, thank you. I'd rather sleep in a 12-year-old's room than one that belongs to a baby. Mom said if we hurried and unpacked, we could go for a ride around Tarrytown. So I went to my room and put my clothes away. When I opened the desk drawers, I found 6 tubes of Tester's glue, 27 bottles of model paint, and a note. It said, warning to whoever uses this room. I hate girls, so if you're one, look out. And if you touch any of my models, I will get you someday. Signed, B.E. Ha ha ha, I said, ripping the note into tiny pieces. After supper, Daddy drove us around Tarrytown. It is a very hilly place. When you get up high, you can look down and see the Hudson River. Of course, you can also see it right in New York City. When I was younger, I used to climb to the top of the jungle gym and look out at it. There is something about the Hudson River that makes me feel good, even if it is polluted. When we came home, I got ready for bed. Before I climbed in, I looked out my window, and what was right underneath my room? Jennifer. That dumb old dog. She looked up at me and barked. I barked right back at her. I knew we should have gone to Disneyland. Chapter 3. That's where we'll pause for today. But my big question is, how did the author show us and not tell us how Sheila felt about dogs? I don't think I ever read Sheila's opinion about dogs, but the author gave us lots and lots of clues and details in the text that can help us as the reader infer her feelings. We are super writers, but we're also super readers. And we know that Judy Blume used some of the same craft moves that we use when we write, like show, not tell. I want you to turn and tell your family, ring ring and tell Wilbur, or even practice typing or write it out. What is one example of how Judy Blume showed but did not tell us how Sheila felt about dogs? Now that's your job, but I told you one last thing. I told you that I would tell you how I tricked you with my 2 truths and 1 lie. I said I went to Arizona to visit my family. My red eye came back this weekend, and I started reading a new book. I did not go to Arizona to see my family because we can't leave our houses. But I did get a chance to use my phone to FaceTime my family. So I talked to my mom, my dad, my brother, my Aunt Annie, my Uncle Danny, my cousins Reagan, Sydney, and Max. So it was fun getting to see their faces and hear their voices, even though I can't give them a hug in person. Just like it's been so fun talking to you on the phone. All right, I can't wait to read until tomorrow. Bye, Wildcats.